All right, let's just dive right in, because today we are unpacking a creative concept that is, well, it's pretty out there. We're not just looking at a story, we're looking at the actual blueprint for a reality that's designed to be heard.
The whole thing kicks off with this one simple, but really poetic line. It's time for the sound vision to come to life. And right away, that sets the tone, doesn't it? This isn't just about an audio drama. We're talking about a sound vision, something way more ambitious.
And that vision immediately throws this incredible puzzle at us. I mean, what kind of idea could possibly bring together Mozart, the composer, Descartes, the philosopher, and a cyborg from the future all in the same room? It sounds like the start of a really strange joke, but it's actually the very heart of this creative pitch. So, what is it? The answer is, it's a creative proposal, a pitch for a totally new kind of audio experience. So what we're dissecting today isn't the finished product, it's the architectural plan. We get to see the raw conceptual bones of it before a single sound has even been made. And again, this isn't your average pitch. The creator calls it a sound vision. And here's the key. The whole point is to have a framework where you can explore huge, abstract themes by literally making symbolic characters, places, and ideas collide with each other. It's a stage for concepts. Okay, so we get the big idea. But how would you actually build this thing? Let's take a look at the actual building blocks of this proposal. How this symphony of symbols would be put together. The proposal gives us 3 core elements. First up, the setting. A room, but specifically a room with a hexagonal floor. Then you've got the cast. But they aren't just people, they're living symbols. Mozart is history and art, Descartes is philosophy, the cyborg is the future, and 2 others, Nursima and Amut, who represent personal identity. And finally, get this, the episode structure itself isn't linear. It's based on exploring coordinates, playing cards, or even musical notes. Now, with a cast and a setting that are this conceptual, you can't just write a normal script, right? You need a completely different kind of toolkit to map out this abstract world. So let's look at the tools the creator came up with. And this is really the main challenge, isn't it? If your characters are whole concepts and your setting is purely a metaphor, how do you chart their movements? How do you map their interactions? Well, the answer is you have to invent equally imaginative tools. So the first tool is called the hexagon of light, and it connects right back to that hexagonal floor we mentioned. See, it's not just a design choice. It's a symbol for the basic structure of this whole project, and it dictates how ideas, and even sound itself, can move around in this space. The next tool is just so clever. It connects the character, Descartes, to his most famous invention, the Cartesian coordinate system. But here, it's totally repurposed. It's used to map what the creator calls the portals of personality. It's a way to actually chart the inner worlds of each character on an X, Y, and Z axis. And this is where it gets really interesting. The creator sets up this internal conflict. There's the Spades universe, which is basically the established rules, the core drama. But then there's this opposing force called Cranberry, which stands for parity and for breaking those rules. It's a way to playfully challenge the system from the inside. It's a world designed with its own tension built right in. So we've got the pieces, we've got the tools, but how does all of this actually come together to make an episode? Let's see how these abstract ideas snap together to create a real, concrete narrative structure. And here it is, the master plan in action. This table is like a recipe for each episode. You can see how every single one is built by linking a big theme, like structure of space and sound, to a very specific symbolic anchor. It could be a musical note, a playing card, or, as we're about to see, even a date. Everything is designed to reinforce the main idea of that installment. Let's just zoom in on one amazing detail from that plan. The anchor for episode 3. It's not a card, it's not a note, it's a date, April 2nd, 2025. And this date is meant to symbolize a holographic opening for the cyborg character. I mean, think about that. It's a perfect example of this method, turning a simple date into a massive, meaning-filled event. So, we've seen the characters, the symbolic tools, the episode plan. But it all comes back to that title, doesn't it? Symphony in the Sixth Dimension. what is this sixth dimension exactly? This is the grand unifying theory. The sixth dimension, it's not a place you can go to. It is the conceptual reality this whole project creates. It's a metaphorical plane of existence where all these different forces, history from Mozart, philosophy from Descartes, the future from the cyborg, and this personal, hopeful faith from Nursima and Umut, can all meet, intersect, and compose something totally new together. So, after deconstructing this whole vision, what's the big takeaway? We can actually boil down this creative process into 4 basic steps. You start with a huge theme, like identity. You give it symbolic anchors or coordinates. Then you just imagine how these different symbols would interact or clash. And finally, you compose that interaction into a story, a symphony of ideas. And that leaves us with a pretty cool question to chew on. This entire proposal is a way of mapping identity using a totally unique language. So it makes you wonder, if you had to map your own story, your own identity, using this method, what symbols would you pick? What would your coordinates be? It's a fascinating way to think about the stories we tell. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.